Hey,
Hello.
we promised this week we'd talk about how to easily move through those moments of clinging or resistance to experiences we've had, and how that can give us freedom and unravel old food habits where we're reaching for food to find relief. So, I'm going to give you a couple of things that have helped me, and you can try them yourself and see. The first is when my mood starts to get low, just right at the beginning point, I pause, stop, and let that be a red warning light that I need to pull the car over, like a red warning light on the dashboard, and attend to whatever's arising. So I stop, I pause, and I just have awareness. This is just a thought, and it's moving through, nothing to do. The other thing that I find helpful for me is when I go after the potato chip story, is again to just sit, stop, pause, and ask myself, are you hungry? Do you need more food? Nope. Well, how do you feel? I feel great. And then I just go on about my life. Just that time to let the mind settle makes a big difference for me. And this morning in talking with Bill, I noticed that when I want to go after the potato chips is usually when I want some form of reward, some form of, I've done a really good job. It's time to reward myself and relax. And in seeing that I've got reward hooked in whatever way it is, that gave me a lot of freedom. And I could see, do I want to use food for reward? Is that the true purpose of food in my life? Yeah, so for what it's worth.
Yeah, and so what I've been seeing in this too, as I've been reflecting, is how it's like there's a constant narrative going on in my mind about what's happening in life. And in that narrative, sometimes I feel a little shaken. My world gets a little shaken. Say I'm at work and the my supervisor shortens the deadline, and suddenly it's like, oh my God, how am I going to do that? And there's a whole litany of thinking that goes on subconsciously that is creating this pressure. You know, the thought of, oh my God, how can I do this? I don't see that I'll get it done in time. If I don't get it done on time, I'll lose my job. If I lose my job, I won't have money. Then you know how it goes on. But all of that is beyond my conscious thinking. All I know is tension. I need to deal with the tension. And so I start looking for things outside of me as a way to deal with the tension. And maybe that's food, or maybe that's sometimes I will say something, you know, the little relief valve about spouting off, you know, venting. So I'm looking for a way to undo the pressure that's building up. And what we're seeing as we work with clients around understanding the nature of the mind and how life works, we begin to see how this thinking was what's creating the pressure.
Yes.
It's not the outside circumstance.
Right.
It's not the shortened deadline. And as we begin to see how that works, we begin to be willing to look more closely at what's going on. I become more willing to be present in those moments. I'm not so freaked out, I've got to take care of this pressure. I go, oh, yeah, I've been here before. What is really going on? And as we work with clients, particularly around food and reaching for food when we're not hungry, we encourage them to really get present with what's going on when they're eating the foods that they know they don't need to eat because they're not hungry.
Yes.
And in that, they see all kinds of new things. It starts to unravel that kind of subconscious narrative that's going on and driving the pressure.
Well, and also, like for me this morning in talking with you, you see how you've got it all hooked together. And in the simple seeing of that, there's relief. There's release.
Yeah, there's release. And then kind of the filter of life that, this life energy that's coming through us that our brain is using to interpret the world, make sense of what's going on in the world, make sense of a shortened deadline. When I begin to see that my well-being isn't dependent on what's happening outside of me.
Yeah, that it's always present.
That it's always present.
Yeah.
When I get present with the feeling of what's going on, what tends to be revealed is that really I'm okay.
Yeah, true.
And as I start to make that connection more and more, that seems to unravel or reverse engineer the beliefs that have my automatic response being pressure, being I've got to vent, I've got to eat something, all of that. Because as I begin to see, by meeting what shows up in my life, that everything is welcome.
Yeah.
And I begin to see that life is safe.
True. And so much of this comes to light in our programs with people because we do a lot of one-on-one coaching that helps in the moment, like my talking with you this morning, really see the construction that I have that isn't real. And in seeing that, freedom.
Yeah, it's been so beautiful. We've just completed another 6-week course with a group, and there's such a consistent reflection from all of them at the freedom they've gained over the old battle around food, weight loss, body image, all of that. As they've begun to meet, just be willing to be with whatever showed up when they were wanting to reach for food that they was kind of not the healthiest, and they weren't really hungry. When they began to meet that, they began to develop a much healthier relationship with the food, which means what they're doing really is gaining a much healthier relationship with themselves. And since we're all innately whole and complete and well,
healthy,
as we strengthen that relationship, then the narrative that comes up when circumstances kind of shake our world is completely different. We're not so freaked out.
Yeah, true. So if you have an interest in exploring your relationship with food and habit, please contact us and we'll do a free session with you and you can see more about what this is about. Recipe. So the recipe today is a spinach soup made with spinach, a lot of cherry tomatoes, and 2 oranges, whole oranges. It's great. Give it a try. It's a raw soup and very delicious. Very, very, and also very supportive of cleansing the body.
Good. Yeah, it's a great soup.
Thanks for joining us.
All right. Bye for now.